These words are very sacred. Live it, love it, learn it.
See? How is that cool? Well, it's going to be a real interesting video. Literally. Everyone has been talking about this. Everyone has been going nuts about the Netflix show. The FLDS religion, the polygamy, the child brides, the underage brides, blah, blah, blah. I'm here to tell my story and my point of view and what's really true and what's not true. And everyone in that Netflix story, it's called Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey. Again, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey documentaries from the FLDS Mormons, which stands for Fundamentalists, Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ, which are a sect of Christians who follow Jesus Christ. And the fundamentalist basically just means people who follow the Bible literally or 100% and take it literally. So I have my jolly notes and stuff I wrote down in school and just in general. So I will talk about certain topics and my experience, what I like, what I don't like about it. And remember, there's always two sides to every story. You can't believe everything. So, do I look good on camera? You can see me? I look great? Yeah. Hey! So, I'm sitting in a nice little, colorful, pretty, happy yard. So, this video is definitely going to be interesting. Oof. Hopefully I get like 86 thumbs up and like 86 views because I got that many subscribers. So that means a lot to me. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the FLDS famous last names. You have this in the LDS church. And I'm going to touch base between the FLDS versus the LDS and the differences and the comparisons in my notes. So, the famous last names that are in the FLDS religion community, which is in Hilldale, Utah, or Colorado City, Arizona, which is a state borderline that borders between both states. You have Utah and Arizona. There is a long road strip that connects from Utah to Arizona, and that road is basically a border. You can jump to the right, you're in Arizona. You can take 20 steps back, you're in Utah. That street, I can't pronounce the name of it, because it's a Native American name, so it's hard for me to pronounce. But in that border, you have the famous last names of the FLDS, which is the Barlows, the Mussers, and I'm going to spell their last names. Barlow, B-A-R-L-O-W. Mussers, M-U-S-E-R-M-S. Joseph Musser is the founder of that family. You have the Jessups, which is also related to Warren Jeff. That was one of his wife's maiden name before she got married. And then you have the Steeds. And people behind the fence. Ear hustling. And, yeah. So that's that. If I lean back, can you still see me at least?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would have you, but that's kind of, I guess, personal. You're just keeping me company, which I really appreciate. And I have a nice friend who loves and accepts me and doesn't judge me, which is beautiful. Okay, so here we go. Joseph Smith was a young boy back in the year 1830. He founded this religion, and he found these Book of Gold plates back in 1830, which would be called now the Book of Mormon. That is the history, and this video is definitely for purposes, history purposes, and entertainment purposes only, and my truth and my story. 1830, the Book of Mormon was revealed by a young boy named Joseph Smith. In July 12, 1843, the laws of plural marriage has started and will be started. Joseph Smith, back in 1830, he was a young boy, ages basically between 12 and 16. They have not done history of exactly what age he is, but they said between roughly 12 and 16, he discovered these gold plates that were in the ground. God came to him, and, Heavenly Father said, now these scrolls were basically in, Egyptian or Arabic or Hebrew or some weird language that was not in English. Only he got chosen to translate them in what's called English, or England English speaking. So in July 12th, 1843, he got 40 wives. In July 12th of 1843, Joseph Smith had 40 wives. And that was called plural marriage, which is basically, as a woman's point of view, to get to the celestial kingdom of heaven, you definitely need certain things. The men need 3 wives. So women, you need to have at least anywhere from 10 to 20 children, at least, to get the celestial kingdom of heaven. Not just that, dressing modest, having long hair. We take 1 Corinthians and Deuteronomy very literally about having long hair. If you do not have cancer, you should not be cutting your hair as a woman. That is a sin in our religion, in our faith. And the men have short hair and wear pants, and they work and provide. And the women stay home and cook, clean, have lots of children, look modest, dress appropriate, be feminine, girly, traditional. That's our views of how we live our life. How do I say this? Okay. Okay. In 1844, Joseph Smith went to jail and got arrested in 1844. He died in jail, got shot by a mob of people, and his last words was, "Oh Lord, my God." Literally. That was in 1844. He was in jail, got arrested for polygamy, for having wives, because in Utah was not a state yet. Utah was actually ran by Mexico, and I didn't know this, but Utah was technically a Mexican border, part of Mexico and New Mexico state. I had no clue. It was a Spanish country also with the Native Americans before the Europeans and the pioneers came over and we started taking land. That is the history of it. Hopefully everybody can hear me. There's a lot of noisy traffic. Wow. Nauvoo, Illinois, in 1844, a lot of the polygamists, and that's where Joseph Smith lived, and he died back, obviously, in 1844 in jail. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I just want people to hear me because of the noise and traffic. In 1844, he died. His last word was, "Oh Lord, my God." Then there was another prophet that was friends with Joseph Smith. His name, and will be soon to be the next prophet, who speaks through the word of God, and only men could do this, not women. His name was Brigham Young, the prophet. He discovered and also went with the polygamy and was agreeable and agreed with this. 15,000 people, men and women included, 15,000 people had to move from Nauvoo, Illinois, which is near upstate New York, a couple states down. He actually got together with the people, 15,000 people, and moved to this new place called Zion. Zion is another word for heaven and a place where only godly people will go to get the celestial kingdom of heaven. There's 3 types of heavens. The first 2 is very hard for me to pronounce because of my English. I have a lisp. The first one and the second one is hard for me to pronounce. The last one, which was the best one, is the celestial kingdom of heaven. Basically, this is like you're basically kissing Jesus and touching Heavenly Father's feet and giving him a hug. That's how close you can get to them. So he moves 15,000 people to this new ranch called Zion. In 1890, this is the year 1890, the LDS Church separated and no longer believed in polygamy, which I go to their church, but I don't like the way they practice their beliefs. 1890, the LDS Church does not practice polygamy. They basically separated in 1890, the LDS Church. The FLDS broke away from them. It's basically a big, disagreement. The LDS Church does not practice polygamy. They do interracial marriage. The men and women sit together. The women cut their hair short. They wear pants. They do not dress modest. The FLDS believes in the curse of Cain, does sacrifice a blood atonement, and they are very old school and strict. Women have very long hair. They only wear long prairie dresses, similar to what I'm wearing, only I shorten my sleeves and shorten the length, but it's a very similar style. This is one of their dresses. The LDS Church separated in 1890. The FLDS believes in the curse of Cain, the blood of atonement, Also, they're very strict. They basically follow the Old Testament rules of cooking, cleaning, baking, sewing, having sex with your husband, even if you're on your period. That's not an excuse. You're supposed to keep sweet, pray, and obey. That slogan, Rulon Jeffs, which I'll get into more in a video, is a slogan. Basically, if you're a woman and you're on your period, or you're having a bad day, or you don't feel good, or you just gave birth 10 minutes ago, you're supposed to swallow up your pride as a woman, regardless how you feel, and keep sweet, pray, and obey. Those are a slogan of religious laws that the FLDS follow, and so do I to this day. And you're learning something too. Okay. So, Rulon Jeffs had 50 wives. He started this community in 1986. Now, this is the weird thing. In 1986, they moved to this community, and he was basically starting this fundamentalist community. But remember, the Jeffs family's heritage goes back to 1950s and 1940s because of their, legacy. So they were just not living in Arizona or Utah or Colorado City or Hilldale, Utah yet. They were in other states like they were living in Navajo, Navoe. My English is horrible. Navajo, Illinois, or Navajo, I can't pronounce it. Navoe, I just said it. Navajo, Navarro, Illinois. Sorry, my English is not the greatest. It was never good, even in Alta Academy when Warren Jeff was teaching. Anyway, I don't want to get off topic. So, in 1986, the Jeffs regime, which is their last name, started, and Rulon Jeff was the father of Warren Jeff. Rulon Jeff, his wife, her name was Marilyn Steed Jeffs. That was her last name. Marilyn Steed Jeff was wife number 6. Mind you, no one discusses who the first wife was. It was only wife number 6. You gotta pay attention. Who was wife number 1 if you're wife number 6? Clearly, Rulon Jeff was clearly in his early to late 60s. The wife does not say her age in the history. She's probably anywhere from 16 to 25. No one knows yet. Marilyn had 5 boys. And I'm going to go in order here. She had 5 boys with Rulon Jeff. And mind you, he had 50 wives. She was wife just number 6. Makes you wonder, right? Marilyn Steed Jeff had 50... I'm sorry. Marilyn Steed Jeffs. She was number 6 out of 50 wives. Her sons, 5 of them, was Seth, Nephi, Lyle, Leroy, and, of course, our favorite, Uncle Warren Jeffs. So, I'll repeat that again. Marilyn Steed Jeffs, wife number 6 out of 50 wives of Rulon Jeffs. She had 5 boys. Seth, Nephi, Lyle, Leroy, and Warren. And Rulon Jeffs started an academy, which is called Alta. A-L-T-A. Alta Academy, which was in Sandy, Utah. Sandy, Utah is a very, very small town, which is between Colorado City, Arizona, and Hilldale, Utah. It's literally in the state border. There is no direct line of what state. It literally stands in the middle. And that was basically between the Rocky Mountains and the, desert. Sandy, Utah is a small town, very out in the rocky, ranchy mountains. You see cliffs, a lot of orange, clay, rocks, cactuses, a desert. It's beautiful, though, if you go to Utah and Arizona. It's a lot different than where I'm living in the East Coast. The West is a lot different. I actually like the West. But anyway, Alta Academy was a religious school of the FLDS Mormons where they studied curriculum of math, English, and science. Nothing to do with American history. Only, and I'll get into later on in the video, I will get into what we learned in school, including my experience. So Sandy, Utah is where Rulon Jeffs was one of the teachers. His son just graduated. He was 18 years old. Warren Jeff turned 18 years old, and he was now going to be the principal of this school because his father is up there in age, clearly, so he had to be the next legacy. So what we call him is Uncle Warren Jeff, which we call any prophet in our religion uncle because it's like a family thing. So Uncle Warren Jeff was our principal in Alta Academy in Sandy, Utah school. Rulon Jeff started school in 1972, not that long ago. It ended in 1999 because Warren Jeff obviously got arrested and he was in jail back in 2003 or 2005. I'm off by a couple numbers, forgive me. So yes, and the classes that we were all in was basically classes 1 through 8, or in this country, in this America, New York State, we go by grades. Over there in the West Coast, they go by classes. So instead of saying like, oh, I was in school grade 8th, you would say, oh, I'm in class 8. It's the opposite. But that's all the women basically went to, because after grade 8 or class 8, you get married, have a family, and you just learn the basic curriculums of math, basic math, like plus, take away, borrowing, a little bit of times tables, just enough so you can like know how to read a measuring cup, so you could bake, cook, clean, and sew, because as a woman, as myself, that's all your work, that's all you're supposed to do. While the men go out in the fields and they basically do the plowing, they do the farm work, they chop wood, they do business work with people. So, Rulon Jeff started school in 1972 until 1999. Now, these are some people that are related to Warren Jeff that are not full, how do I say this? They are not full blood related. I don't know all of them. I only know 2 out of 3 of them. You got Willis, I'm saying this wrong, sorry guys. Wallace, Wallace Jeffs. There you go. Forgive me that I have a speech impediment and it's hard for me to talk sometimes. Wallace Jeffs was the brother of Warren Jeff. They had, obviously, different moms. Remember, Warren Jeff's father, Rulon Jeff, had 50 wives. So you have to think, out of those 50 wives, one of those women had a baby with Rulon Jeff and, you know, had children besides Warren Jeff. So that was one of his brothers. You want to call it a half-brother, step-brother, I don't know what you want to call it. Then you got Brent Jeffs. He's the nephew of Warren Jeff. Then you have Annette Jeffs. Annette Jeffs was the first wife of Warren Jeff. Page 2. It's getting good. Hey! Okay, this is our priesthood heritage, and I wrote everything down. If you guys probably can't see it, but I wrote everything down, and this is what we learned in Alta Academy in Sandy, Utah, my experience and how I grew up in my life. So the priesthood heritage council, we had to learn this back and forth in school. So Joseph Smith, June 27th, 1844. These are the years the prophets got elected and started ruling and controlling the FLDS religion of the Mormons. Then you have Brigham Young, August 29th, 1877. You have John Taylor, July 25th, 1887. You have John W. Woolley, December 13th, 1928. Lauren C. Woolley, September 19th, 1934. That's the 5th prophet? Yes. Then you have John Barlow, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video. That was a very famous last name. John Barlow, December 29th, 1949. John Barlow was the number 6 prophet in our religion. Then came Leroy S. Johnson, November 25th, 1986. Then you have, which is today's prophet, Rulon Jeff, who died. Now standing in his legacy, his son, Warren Jeff, who is now still in prison, unfortunately, and not living and ruling the community. Rulon T. Jeff was his father. So, everyone had to move after Rulon T. Jeff, which his father, died, and Warren Jeff became the prophet, and who was also our principal and teacher in our school in Alta Academy in Sandy, Utah. So we all moved to Shore Creek of the year 2002. We all moved there. Then these are other people that are related to the Jessups, that are famous people. Janetta Jessup, Janetta, Janetta Jessup, wife number 63. We all get numbers. Here's another one. Elena, or I might be saying this wrong because my English is bad. Elaine. Elena. I'm going to say Elena. Elaine. Elena Anderson was the stepsister of Warren Jeff. Now, the FLDS has lots of compounds, including near upstate New York. And also, there was another compound where our temple was built. But these are just a couple of places where we do exine and live, and we do have different sect denominations. Hence why we wear different dresses. This dress is very similar to theirs. It's a little different because each sect, like you have different sects of communities that dress different. Like, for example, you got Amish and Mennonites and Hutterites. You got Orthodox Jews and Hasidic Jews. You have different Muslims and other kinds of Muslims. You have Catholic Christians and Lutheran Christians and whatever else. So we all dress differently, and someone's falling asleep over there. Hi. So the FLDS compound, which is called RI, that's the name of the building, which was in Mangos, Colorado Valley. I'll spell this word. Mancos. Mansos Valley, Colorado. That is the town that is saying, I can't pronounce it. It's Mancos. Mancos, Colorado Valley. The FLDS R23, name of the building. That was the name of the building, R23, one of the temple names. That was also in South Dakota, which is R23. This is another name of a town in South Dakota. R23 was the name of the building of the temple, the FLDS. This town was called Pringle. Priligi, I can't pronounce this. Pringle. Priligi, I'm bad with names, in South Dakota. The other compound, which from the FLDS, was in El Dorado, Texas. Eldorado. El Dorado, Texas, which was the temple that Warren got arrested in. All of us women had to leave. Our kids got taken away. People were shooting us. It was really bad. And then we went on talk shows and we got the children back. Thank goodness. His other son of Warren Jeff was called Thomas Jeffs, son of Lyle Jeffs, which is my uncle and his brother, the nephew of Warren Jeff. This temple that was built is YFZ Temple in Texas, in El Dorado, Texas. And we still talk and write letters, Thomas Jeff, me and him. He's the son of Lyle Jeffs, which is the nephew of my husband, my uncle, Warren Jeff. And now I'm just going to talk about, that was just a brief history. Now I'm going to just talk about my experience there. I went to school there, and I got married at 14. And life was different. I was wife number 7. It's funny how, give me a second, trying to find, Anita Jess was the first wife. I never saw her that much, because the first wife has more privilege. They do more legal paperwork and do things in the community. If you are a wife number 2 to 75, let's say, you're basically what's called a spiritual wife. You're not legalized. You're basically what the world in this country, what we call the Gentiles, what we call the Shvatzas, the Goyams, people that are called the apostate. The word apostate means someone who left the church or the religion or the community and they are longer exiled. I would be considered now an apostate since I was forced to leave because of sin, but I still practice the faith and still part of the religion. A Gentile or a Shvatza is someone that is not born into the religion or the community or the culture. And Annette Jess was the first wife. I was just wife number 7, and we all had children with him. And if you want me to do a part 2 to this video has to get at least 25 to 35 thumbs up, if not more, so I can do a part 2. And I got pictures that I will be printing out soon. I got pictures of me when I was younger, of Uncle Warren Jeff. I got pictures of our school. I have a lot of stuff. So if you guys really want to see that, this video needs to get 25 to 30 thumbs up, because I have a happy, beautiful 86 subscribers. And each one of you, please hit the thumbs up button. It doesn't just help me out, which it does, but it passes the channel along. Views count just as well, but the thumbs up button really helps. And I'm not just saying that to get clarification. I really want this video to be out there for a purpose of educational purposes only, and entertainment, and the truth, and my story, and my belief, and how I grew up and how I was raised. So if you like that and you know what to do, hit the thumbs up button. And this was a nice little video I did, and I feel really good. And I'm still spiritually married. Still got a ring, but I'm no longer with him. We got placed in different marriages by his brother Lyle. Sent messages from prison, so I got placed and remarried. I'm not happy about it, but you just do what the Lord says and keep sweet praying away. And he is no longer permitting us to have children yet. Only the Jeffs, Regine, and anyone who is proximate or related, just like these last names I will mention again. These last names are only allowed to have children, which I think is really screwed up, because obviously I can't, because I'm just a Jeff. The Barlows, the Musters, the Jessups, and the Steeds. The Steeds are technically the Jeffs, but that's their middle name. But yes, those people are allowed to have lots of children. And the funny thing is, people bitch and complain about underage brides and cheating and polygamy. But here's the funny thing. People that are non-religious, that don't belong to our faith, how many of you commit adultery and cheat on your wife or on your husband? How many of you have 2 or 3 baby fathers or 2 or 3 baby daddies, and you guys are boasting and you're proud of it? How many of you been arrested and been to jail for not paying child support? Exactly. And you have the audacity to hate on our religion and our way of life? At least in our religion, we all know about each other as wives. For example, Rosemary, Jessica, and Brittany may be married to my husband. We all have children with the same husband. We have that one beautiful common bond in God. And we're all 18 years and older. And here's the thing, like, whether people are underage or not, I mean, that's bad, but you know what? How many other things people do in the world that's bad, like rape, commit adultery, kill, steal? It's all bad. So who are you to sit there and label a sin or label our lifestyle as bad? We're not bothering you. It's not your children. It's not your way of life. Don't bother us or hate on us. That's why we build compounds outside of the non-Gentile or religious world, just like the Amish, just like the Hasidic Jews, just like the Hutterites, the Mennonites, or the, I'm trying to think of other strict, cold religions, nuns, monks. They all live in compounds and homes where they don't want to be bothered with the American culture or the feminists or the, you know, I hate to say the words, the manly, dykey women or the feminine people. Like, they live on the, and it's, I'm not being mean. You live your life, do you. I'm living my best life. That's all we can do. And isn't that what you want in life, is to live your best ability and your best life you can be? So long story short, don't be rude and hate on me or my channel or my way of life. It's not your life or not your, you know, way. And this, one thing about this country I've noticed in America, we butt into everybody else's religion. We butt into everybody else's faith and religion, but we can't clean up our own backyard, but we can bitch and complain about the people next door, You need to clean up your backyard and worry about your life in your yard before you look at someone else on the right or left. Look in front of you in the mirror. And that's my personal opinion of life. And I like the FLDS people. I like the Hasidic Jews. I like the Mennonites, the Amish, the Hutterites. They are all beautiful religious people. They want to be left alone. So do we. So stop bothering us. We don't want to be part of your world. We do not want to have short hair and wear pants and be a feminist. We don't want to walk around with man buzz and tight clothes and not work and be a masculine man. We live our life like in the 1950s. Women wear skirts and dresses that are old school. Men go to work and have short hair and they're providers. That is our way of life. We're not pushing this agenda on you guys. You live your life and do you. That's what we want. So just let us be. And if you like this kind of content and you want me to show pictures of when I was little and pictures of Uncle Warren and our school and my family, this video should get, like I said, 30 to 82 thumbs up, because each subscriber I have should watch it, including the people that I'm probably going to post this on, which is the FLDS school, So I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night. Woo! Yeah!